Whatever is born or done this moment in time has the qualities of this moment in time. Twin Tower Enterprises presents your personal astrological guide to love, money, and fitness, starring Sydney Omarr. All of us have at least one thing in common. All of us were born, and we were all born under one of those 12 fascinating, intriguing signs of the zodiac. Despite what lexicographers say, astrology, properly defined, is that scientific art which treats of the synchronicity or relationship between planetary positions and human affairs, including human character and potential, and which deals with the Jungian concept that everything born or done this moment in time has the qualities of this moment of time. A horoscope is a map of the heavens frozen for a specific time and place. Your sun sign is the engine of your horoscope in terms of both your character and the probable crossroads you will come to as you live from day to day. Each section or house of the zodiac relates to a different aspect of your life, together relating a complete circle of activity from love and friendship to fitness and career. Sydney Omarr has spent a lifetime researching, studying, and writing about astrology, and is now sharing his special talents and knowledge with you. His remarkable insight prompted Time magazine to call him astrology's most skillful public protagonist. And this valuable information offers one of the most exciting and rewarding opportunities of your life. Welcome to your personal astrological guide to love, money, and fitness.
I'm Sydney Omarr. You know who you are, and I'm going to reveal plenty about you. Aries, dynamic, sexy, sensual, vulnerable where love is concerned. Now listen, Aries, many people say, well, you're headstrong, that you act first and think later. If the truth be known, you are better at helping others than when it comes to aiding yourself. Now this might sound noble, but it's almost second nature for you, Aries. People are drawn to you when they say, let me confide my problem, let me tell you something about myself. You're a very good listener, you're a natural humanitarian, you're actually peace-loving, but you will fight when the cause is right. And what interests you most in life is love. Many persons find this hard to believe. They say, oh, he or she is so fiery, independent, wants the lead, wants to be first. Yes, you want to be first, but not always for your own benefit, Aries. Very often, you are striving to help children, to help yourself, only second best after loved ones. Now listen, Aries, you're not an angel, but certainly you are a vulnerable human being, very warm, not always fiery, and you will always back down when it seems that the underdog is being taken advantage of. Now listen, Aries, your natural fifth house is Leo the sun, and that means that affection is a very strong part of your nature, and that is why, Aries, you are so vulnerable where love enters the picture. Two of the most interesting, fascinating Aries women I met, Bette Davis and Gloria Swanson. Bette Davis said to me, Sydney Omarr, I was born under Aries. I don't know the meaning of the word quit. Well, that's true, and Bette Davis proved it in many of her starring motion pictures, receiving Academy Awards and other honors, many times after people said, well, Bette Davis has reached her peak. Well, Aries seldom reaches a peak. Now, Gloria Swanson supposedly had reached a peak in silent motion pictures, then made a grand comeback in Sunset Boulevard. She was diminutive in stature, but to me, she was one of the tallest women in the world. Gloria Swanson had marvelous eyes, wonderful face, ideas of her own in typical Aries fashion. She was a pioneer. She fought and battled orthodoxy all the way. Now once, when I was really drawn to her, she put her hand on mine and said, "Sidney Omarr, I need you." Well, I was flabbergasted. The great Gloria Swanson, a woman I was so fascinated with, saying she needed me. So I went to a woman who had Aries rising, lovely Angie Dickinson, a Libra who had Aries rising in her horoscope, meaning the sign on the eastern part of her chart at the time of her birth. And I said, "Angie, Gloria Swanson says she needs me, but I know it's only astrology that she wants, not really me." And Angie Dickinson looked at me in that Aries fashion and said, "You listen, Sidney Omarr, they used to tell me, 'Angie, don't you know he only wants you for your body?' And I would throw my arms up and say, 'Thank goodness he wants me for something.'" So, Sidney, you be glad that people want you for something. Well, you see, Aries is not devoid of humor, and the Aries person, well, for example, you have Jane Withers, who used to be Shirley Temple's sidekick in so many motion pictures. She's delightful. She's a strong advocate of astrology and certainly possesses the kind of humor which ingratiated her to audiences in motion pictures and those who also watched her on those television commercials. I say Aries has loads, plenty to offer all of us. After many years of empirical observation, I feel I've actually discovered a method of guessing a person's birth sign, and I want to share that secret with you. Now, here's how it works. Every zodiacal sign relates to one of the four major elements: fire, earth, air, and water. Now, for example, the earth signs, Taurus, Virgo, and Capricorn. These are the practical people, and their hands reflect their character. Take a look at the earth sign hand. It's square, the thumb is thick, there are relatively few lines on the palm because these people do some hard physical work. They'll leave the metaphysics up to someone else. They want the blueprints. They want the instructional manuals. They want to get the job done. Now, take the air signs, almost the opposite. Gemini, Libra, Aquarius. These are the persons who are intellectual, and oddly enough, although they do very little physical work, there are many lines on the palms of their hands. Take a look at that hand. It's thin, it's quick, it's nervous, just like a Gemini, a Libra, or an Aquarian. Now, if you want to know something, ask a member of the air sign trinity. Those persons do the research. Now, what about the fire signs? The Aries, Leo, Sagittarius. These are the people who can inspire us. They can set us afire, and they could cause us to live up to our potential. Now listen, if you're around a fire sign, just take a look at the hand. It's cone-shaped. It almost comes to a cone, and you'll recognize Aries, Leo, or Sagittarius. And if you want to get along with one of these signs, give them plenty of affection and warmth. Now, what about the water signs? These are the prescient or psychic people. The hands are oval-shaped, and so is the face usually. Cancer, Scorpio, Pisces. Now look at the hands of the water signs. The hand is actually water-shaped. It's fleshy. The mount of Venus, that mound below the thumb, is highly developed. Each one of us is a passenger on the spaceship known as Earth. And all of us relate to each other in love, money, health, and every department of life. Here are some revelations which should provide enlightenment for you on how you relate to every sign of the zodiac, including your own. Now listen, Aries, you can make money in your association with Taurus, but there's something else too. Your number 9, Mars, combines with the number 6, Venus of Taurus, and you know what happens when Mars and Venus get together. So, Aries with Taurus means money and love. But I have this to tell you, Aries. If you're interested only in money, in personal possessions, special collections, payments, well, then Taurus might not be the one for you, because I feel you'll be too busy expressing emotions, making love, too busy to really make money with Taurus, but you'll have a lot of fun. Now, with Gemini, there are short trips, ideas, creations. With Gemini, it's the number 5, Mercury, combined with your number 9, Mars. And so there's plenty of action. There is the possibility of burnout, but there will be short trips, relatives, visits, and listen, Aries, some of the ideas you develop with Gemini could be transformed into viable and valuable concepts. Now, Gemini helps pique your intellectual curiosity. You'll feel lively, alert, vigorous in your association with Gemini. And remember, the two planets are 60 degrees apart and are harmonious. Now with Cancer, Aries, you begin to feel a need for security, shelter, home. Now the moon, number 2 of Cancer, combines with the Mars, Venus of your sign. And listen, you begin to perceive your own potential. Cancer gets you straightened out. Well, listen, I know that you're not always going to have a good time with Cancer, because Cancer demands a certain amount of discipline. It causes you to learn more about real estate, long-range prospects, family obligations. But when it's all over, if it does happen to end, you'll say, it was rough, but I wouldn't have traded it for anything in the world. Ah, now Aries, with Leo, it's change, travel, variety, plenty of sensuality too, because the number 1 son of Leo combines with your Mars number 9, and we have the travel, we have the messages, the writing, we have the self-expression, even children and speculation. Now, Aries, you're not necessarily a gambler, but somehow or other, when you get together with Leo, it's off to Atlantic City or Las Vegas or even Gardena, depending upon your budget at the moment. Now, Leo doesn't cause you to settle down as Cancer does, but Leo does give you a great deal of self-esteem. Now, Aries, listen, with Virgo, you learn more about health and fitness, perhaps more than you care to know. The number 5 Mercury of Virgo combines with your 9 number Mars number 9, and before you're finished, you're talking about vitamins, you're talking about cleanliness, you're talking about neatness, and you say, people say to you, is this really you, Aries? And you say, well, what do you expect? I've been with a Virgo. But seriously, Virgo is basically good for you, Aries, and you certainly do inspire Virgo. You inspire Virgo to change, set patterns, to experiment. It's good for both of you. Now, Aries, in combination with Libra, we have again the Venus number 6 combined with your Mars number 9. And with Libra, you concentrate on partnership, cooperative efforts, public relations, clash of ideas. Libra brings you into contact with persons who don't necessarily agree with you, but you learn to cooperate, and you begin to realize that certainly a clash of ideas is more exciting than a clash of guns. One other thing, if you're just playing games with Libra, you better move on, because for Aries, Libra means marital status is emphasized. Now, in conjunction with Scorpio, listen, Aries, your interest in the occult will be fanned. You'll be concerned with arcane subjects. You'll dig deep. You'll gain inspiration from Scorpio. You become a natural detective. You see, the number 22, Pluto of Scorpio, combines with your 9 Mars to cause you to be willing to tear down, to refurbish, only for the purpose of rebuilding on a more suitable structure. Now, you'll be concerned with taxes, license requirements, and the possibility of an inheritance. With Scorpio, Aries, you learn more about financial resources of others. Now, Aries, when we come to your relationship with Sagittarius, it's the number 3 Jupiter of Sagittarius combined with your 9 Mars. And that means, again, change, travel, variety, increased social activity, intellectual curiosity. But mainly, you learn about distant lands, you learn to enjoy foreign foods, you might even learn a language in your association, another language in your association with Sagittarius. And the emphasis is on travel, higher education, spirituality, communication. You learn, Aries, how to disseminate information with Sagittarius. In your relationship with Capricorn, emphasis is on career, business, standing in community, prestige, dealings with superiors, and how you relate to the law, to rules and regulations. You see, the number 8 Saturn of Capricorn combines with the 9 of Mars of Aries to bring you added responsibility, pressure, and although at first there might not be a wild physical attraction, this relationship could develop into something intense. First comes career and business, followed by love. Or as Freud said, the most important things, work and love, and you'll have that with Capricorn. Now with Aquarius, what a difference. Friends, hopes, wishes, desires, powers of persuasion. You get almost anything you want in your association with Aquarius. You see, Aquarius is the Uranus, number 4, combined with the 9 Mars of Aries, and so again, it represents unorthodox procedures. Gregarious Aquarius brings you out of your shell, causes you to be less aggressive, less pugnacious. Aquarius teaches you, Aries, how to win rather than force your way. Now again, you'll be rebuilding with Aquarius, but you'll learn that you can win friends and influence people. Now with Pisces, it's a matter of secrets. Somehow, Aries, you are encouraged to confess or confide almost everything to Pisces. It's the number 7 Neptune of Pisces combined with your number 9 Mars, and suddenly there are clandestine meetings, there's romance, there are secrets. Oh, and you gain access to previously classified information when you deal with Pisces. It's almost like a thriller spy story. Your romance, the relationship with Pisces. You go behind the scenes. You see how the magician makes the lady float. Suddenly the threads become visible. Now, go ahead with Pisces. You'll have a lot of fun. Now with another Aries, I'm afraid it's Mars 9, and it can work, Aries, but first you'll have to decide who is going to set the pace, who is going to create the policy, who is going to be the leader. Otherwise, there will be great friction when 2 Mars get together. Well, then they enjoy a good fight. Now, of course, you'll enjoy fighting with Aries, another Aries that is, but there's also a kind of attraction that keeps you together. And once you decide, all right, you lead on this path, let me take the lead on the other. And if you do that, another Aries teaches you to be reasonable and, most important, to make intelligent concessions. Numbers relate to zodiacal signs and planets. Now, having this knowledge adds a new, valuable dimension to interpretation. Now, if you were born on the 1st, 10th, 19th, or 28th of any month, you're independent, creative, at times self-centered. You're spoiled by members of the opposite sex. Your father probably had more influence on you than did your mother. Leo Aquarius individuals play important roles in your life. You possess a pioneering spirit. You're willing to take a chance on your own abilities. You're a better host than you are a guest, because here's a secret. Basically, you're shy. You would rather serve others than to be served. Now, I want you to get over that syndrome. I want you to let us help you, too. Now, if you were born on the 2nd, 11th, 20th, or 29th of any month, you're very intuitive. You're in touch with the pulse of the public. Persons born under Cancer and Capricorn play important roles in your life. Your mother probably had more influence on you than did your father. You were prescient, psychic. You would do marvelous in the fashion world because you can tell us in advance what to buy, and thus we won't be wearing something that's outdated so quickly. But seriously, you work well with women. You work in conjunction with the public. You know about changing trends and cycles, and you know in advance what could happen to us. Now, if you were born on the 3rd, 12th, 21st, or 30th of any month, listen, you're very much aware of body image, of physical appearance. You're very conscious of your weight, of your wardrobe. At times, you scatter your forces. You have great intellectual curiosity. You tend to become interested in too many things simultaneously. Gemini, Sagittarius persons play important roles in your life. You travel more than do most of us. You read a great deal. You publish. You disseminate information. You advertise. You're very lively, but often you can be lonely in a crowd. If you were born on the 4th, 13th, 22nd, or 31st of any month, what a character. You know, you didn't fit into family pattern. You could have been separated psychologically or actually from one or both parents at a relatively early age. You're creative, rebellious, willing to tear down for the ultimate purpose of rebuilding on a more solid base. Now listen, it isn't easy for others to know you because despite themselves, they are envious, and that envy combines with admiration. So listen, if I had my way, I'd have a lot of people born on your date around me. Now, persons born on the 5th, 14th, or 23rd of any month, lively, take notes, reporters, photographers, character analysts. Persons born under Gemini, Virgo, and Sagittarius play important roles in your life. Members of the opposite sex find you fascinating, although you're restless. Now listen, here's a secret about you. You seldom read one book at a time, and you can love more than one person simultaneously. So you're not easy to know, but you're fascinating, challenging, and we do learn a great deal from you. Now, persons born on the 6th, 15th, or 24th of any month, you have unusual speaking or singing voice. You're drawn to drama. You love luxury, flowers, music, the so-called good things of life, but you do have a weakness. Of course, we all do, but you can be self-indulgent, and I want to warn you about something. You have a sweet tooth. Now, if you can control that, you can still enjoy good food without having bad teeth. Now listen, Taurus, Libra, and Scorpio persons play important roles in your life. You're very diplomatic. You seldom hurt our feelings. Now, if you were born on the 7th, 16th, or 25th of any month, you may not be religious in the orthodox sense, but let me tell you, you are spiritual. You're your own most severe critic. You desire perfection. You have the ability to streamline techniques and to get rid of superfluous material. You realize you've learned the lesson that being alone does not necessarily mean you're lonely. Now, Pisces and Virgo persons play important roles in your life. You are able to teach us all some valuable lessons about life. Now, persons born on the 8th, 26th, 17th of any month, well, you're the natural executive. You meet deadlines. There's pressure. You're sentimental, romantic. Your love affairs are intense. You seldom do anything halfway. Cancer, Capricorn persons play important roles in your life. You have a wonderful knack for dealing with older individuals. You're drawn to law, justice. You will always fight when the cause is right. And I would rather be on your side because you seldom lose. You're very competitive, and you teach us that victory is just around the corner. Now, if you were born on the 9th, 18th, or 27th of any month, you teach us many lessons about love. People with problems are drawn to you. But let me tell you something, you often attract what I term psychic vampires. You listen to their troubles, their problems, then you begin to relate some of your own, and they vanish. They draw from you without giving anything in return. Now, Aries, Libra individuals play important roles in your life. You could have an unusual mark or scar on head or face. You are dynamic, creative, and you cannot live without love. Now, here is some special information for you, Aries.
Aries, your lucky numbers are 9, 8, and 1. Your gems are ruby, bloodstone, and diamond. Your color is red, and your metal is iron. Your element is fire, and your planet is Mars. Some famous Aries people you might know include comedian Eddie Murphy, baseball great Pete Rose, singer Doris Day, and actress Marsha Mason. Here are some secret hints for women about Aries men. Remember, this is for women only.
The Aries man can be dominant, inventive, and very impatient. He'll keep you hopping unless you teach him to wait. This man's bark is worse than his bite, but don't get the idea that you can train him like a dog. He'll rebel every time. He is constantly seeking new ways, new persons, new ideas. You'll have to keep up with the times if you want to keep the Aries man. In dealing with this man, Try to keep his chin up. Once he begins to lag or sag, he is heading for defeat. See to it that he gets plenty of exercise and encouragement. Tell him he's good. The more he thinks you appreciate him, the more he will return the compliment. Being interested in an Aries man is akin to taking a new lease on life. His temperament is fiery, his drives are strong, his ambitions are great, and his capacity for love is enormous. Knowing this, do not attempt halfway measures. Decide either that you want him and will fight to keep him, or forget him entirely.
Here are some hints for men about Aries women. Remember, this is for men only. This is not the kind of woman you can lead around in circles. She wants to know where you are taking her, and usually has some ideas of her own on how to get there. You can't force or push her, but neither should you fear her. At least, never let her know you're afraid. This woman wants to think, to analyze, to arrive at her own conclusions. Let her do so, but tell her when you think she's wrong. Remember, the Aries woman can stand criticism. In fact, she can stand almost anything except being ignored. You can win your way with the Aries woman by being diplomatic. She is Martian, fiery in nature, and spirited to the point of being domineering, if you let her. Be wary when she becomes bossy. An Aries woman wants a man, not an individual who is looking for a mother. Never let this lady think you're an easy catch. Let her work for your approval. Make her strive to please you. This takes great skill on your part, but the results will be worth the time and trouble.
Aries, your planet is Mars. Your number is 9. All this adds up to universal appeal. Listen, Aries, you set an example for all of us. I know many people say, you're too fast, you're too aggressive, you're just like that blazing red planet that symbolizes your sign. You're just like Mars, you're too Martian. But Aries, don't listen. Be yourself, because you're setting the example for us. You're teaching us to throw off our shells, to be direct, to be independent, to state our case in a frank manner with no fear. Now listen, Aries, courage of convictions, those are your key words. Now, many times you do suffer setbacks, but you don't quit. And that's the way it is for you, Aries. And that's the example you set. I know many persons say, oh, you're going too fast. You're running over all of us. You're not a pioneer. You're just stampeding us. But listen, Aries, you are the pioneer. You set the pace. You smooth the path for those who follow. You're Houdini. Oh, you're Betty Davis, and you're a number of others, everyday people who have the fire and spirit of your fire sign, Aries. Now listen, Aries, I only have this to say to you. Keep up what you're doing, despite those so-called little people who say, wait for us. Well, they don't really want you to wait. They want you to stop so they can pass you. Well, Aries, don't let them do that. You continue to set us the example so that we don't quit, so that we live up to our potential. Don't forget, your symbolic number 9 is a number of universal appeal, the number of love, and we do love you.